Look at this. Look at this, fantastic, isn't it? Many people head for a town or a city centre in search of history. But hidden away from the busy streets, there is something far older than the railways, the canals and the industrial town. A small stone bridge, no signs, no crowds, no obvious signs of importance. Yet this small stone bridge has quietly served the area for a few centuries, allowing passage over the Black Brook. This is Stonebow Bridge, an absolute medieval gem.
Stonebow Bridge is one of Loughborough's oldest surviving river crossings, located just slightly northwest of Loughborough town centre in a place called Dishley. Let's zoom in just a little way. Now you can see over here it says Stonebow Bridge right beside the Black Brook. The Black Brook flows below this, and stone distinguished it from earlier timber crossings, and bow is an old English term for an arch bridge. So Stonebow literally means the stone arch bridge. The bridge likely originated from the medieval period, probably the 14th, 15th century, and it crossed an important branch of the local floodplain, linking agricultural land, mills and early transport routes. Potentially it was built by monks as well.
So Stonebow Bridge, it is a medieval, believed to be medieval, stone pedestrian bridge, and it has been here way before roads and railways came to navigate this local area. This was not a highway, it was part of a walking route, linking fields, settlements and working land surrounding medieval Loughborough. Bridges and crossings such as this formed the backbone and the network of crossings around rural England. So you can see there's 1, 2 and 3 arches taking the flow of the water through, but the primary flow of the Black Brook comes through the centre, and it's got a guided flow coming out where the water cascades down slightly into the body of water there. Now the 2 arches either side, well, they do 2 jobs. They could contain the water should it rise and go into flood, but it also, as you'll see in a moment, brings in a couple of drains or brooks that also flow around and join the flow of the Black Brook. So walking atop the bridge now, you can see those pieces of stone. How many centuries have they been there, taking feet and foot crossings across? There's that flow of water coming out, look, it's almost like the end of a spanner, isn't it? As if it's going to turn a giant bolt around. But that is indeed taking the flow further on towards Loughborough. Notice the flow on the left is steady, and the flow on the right, there's a little bit of movement, isn't there? On this side we can jump down and get a little bit closer, get a more ground view of the 3 arches. Even more examples of that stonework pressed into the foundations of the bridge. Lots of it, isn't there? Right, let's go down here, because we're going to be treated to a nice side-on view. Look, now there is a flow of water coming out there, look. And there's that fast flow coming down the main Black Brook. But that's interesting to see. It looks like that's an old railway sleeper down there. I will pop the other side in a moment after we've had a look just the other side of the tree that I'm next to, and we'll see where that flow of water does in fact come from. Away from the arch, around the tree I just mentioned, we can carefully step down to the edge. That's a better perspective of it, isn't it? Let's go a little bit further over. It's a little bit slippy, but should be absolutely fine. There we go. So nice face-on view of all of the 3 arches. So we've got that one. I'm going to look at the other side of the first one in a moment. Main flow and also the end one. Most of these crossings originally would have been made from timber, but timber, it needed replacing by stone. Floods would destroy the wooden bridges, so they needed something that was more permanent. And these stone bridges, well, clearly they stand the test of time, don't they? And when communities built in stone, they expected these constructions to last for generations, and clearly this one did. So now we've seen the eastern side of this absolutely stunning 3-arch bridge. Let's go and have a look at the other side and see where the flow of water comes from the arches either side of the main Black Brook flow, just on this side. So away from the main crossing, and you've got, well, you can see that, look, there's a curved like cutout into the stone, isn't it? That's very nice. I'm going to show you where that comes from. There is a little brook just coming through all of the undergrowth there. So we can walk down this by the looks of it. There's not much flow going through it at all. Let me just carefully climb on down. Okay, so I've squatted down in this, and it's really a nice little piece of engineering. It gives some extra character and some ornateness to this bridge. We can pass through the arch as well, so I'm going to do that, show you this little area too, and we should easily be able to poke out the other side. As I mentioned, very minimal flow coming down. I expect it does get worse sometimes. Lovely archway going over the top, isn't there? Look at that vertical thin stone going over the top. I mean, if that doesn't say medieval to you, then I do not know what would. I can pass on below, look, and there's still that flow of water. It has been concreted off at some point, look, but that pops out, look, really nicely on the other side. You can hear and see the flow of the main Black Brook there. I think if it wasn't so damp just there, I'd actually step up there. I might give it a go in a moment, but the view from under here is rather nice, just looking out at the open water. Let's take a look at the roof. Of all those intricate bits of stone that have just been slotted in at those jagged angles, pressed in, and it's been here for centuries. It's stunning, isn't it? Standard stone block down near the base, but it looks in a good state of repair, doesn't it? Same on the other side. I imagine it's been touched up at some point to maintain its structure. See the pick marks as well, look, on them stone blocks at the very bottom. Flow of water coming away. I do like that triangular pier in the centre. It is a bit slippy underfoot down there, so although it's only a small gap, I can see myself face planting this pool of water if I did attempt that. Just gotta love this curved stonework. I'm going to say this was maybe done at a later date, because it does appear to be a different style of block in there, doesn't it? I may be wrong. You can see where it has been formed just there, look, and fused in with the main bridge. So look at the Black Brook again, you can see where it has been channeled to come down and flow and hit that central arch. Again, it's got that lovely sliced stone work across the archway, hasn't it? And we can see inside, it's like a slightly wider version to the one that we've just been inside. Don't know how well you can see the ground below the water, but plenty of that stone underneath the arch, look. So this is a more natural looking riverbed than what we just walked through, suggesting that this one was in fact very similar before it was coated in concrete. Over there, look, there's the third arch. I'm going to try and attempt to pop over there in a moment. I'm just going to walk a little way up here and we'll have a look where that diversion, that sort of guided section of the brook begins just over there. Evidence of it beginning just there, look, and of course it's not the original stonework, but it would have been put in an effort to keep the flow steady, to protect the archway on either side on its supporting structures, to keep the water from hitting those stone supports between the arches and just guide it softly through. I imagine when it does flood and it does, break over these concrete side walls, it will flow nicely down into either archway. Now just imagine going back a few hundred years, farmers, labourers, villagers and traders would have needed to cross over brooks and rivers such as this one. But you could have waded through it in low water, couldn't you? But there were times of flood, times of high water, and these bridges were essential to everyday living. But occasionally there were fords that you could walk through and any other random stretches of the river that deemed safe to do so. So the first arch done, we've looked at the second arch Let's see if we can get over to the one on the right. So just a reminder of what the flow was like coming out of that third arch that we've not looked at on the other side. So let's get around to that side and check out what it's doing. Clearly a lot more water is present, isn't it? I think I'm going to have a job getting down to this one. It'd be nice if I could get over there and we can have a peer inside. Again, it looks like there's it's like an old railway sleeper. It's rotted away down there, and a bit of a stone foundation too. Spin you around down there. There is a flow of water. I'm going to see if I can get over there. It would be nice if I could do that. There must be some way I can get over just up there. And there we are, look, on the other side. Get around to these foundations. Right, so there's the central one again. I think you can see that stonework better from this side. Look at that. That's extraordinary. Let's come around. So this has had some sort of work done that looks a little bit more recent around the bottom there. And there's that, what looks like an old beam or wooden railway sleeper. You can see the water flowing out quite comfortably down there, can't you? Quite a heavy body of water. I expect this flow could be quite aggressive after a lot of prolonged heavy rainfall. So 1, 2, and now the third arch. We've seen them all. And a lovely bit of ivy as well coming across this, but that is also going to cause damage as well, isn't it? Because it's going to encroach into the seal of the cement between the stones, so that probably may want dealing with, because it looks like over there are a few cracks forming. And the extraordinary thing about Stonebow Bridge is its survival. It's gone past the Industrial Revolution as Loughborough and the surrounding area has expanded. Road traffic and of course the road network changed, increased and become much more busier. Railways came, canals came. Bridges like this were required far, far less, but this one survived. Many others haven't. Stonebow Bridge survived because it remained useful enough to survive modernisation, quietly surviving day by day whilst the surrounding areas increased in population and modernisation. So there is some nice detail to actually take a look at right here. As the water flows in, we've got these angled stone sections that form the portal for that central arch. Sticks out quite nice, doesn't it? Adds a little bit of character. You just see both of them if I stretch back. Now on the opposite side, I don't believe they exist. No. So it's completely flat front on the exit to the Black Brook. Because it wouldn't need it, would it? Because they were built like this to guide the flow of the water in, to guide it in to that central arch and continue its journey out the other side. Grand castles, houses and cathedrals dominate the history books. But structures like this offer something different. They offer everyday life and how it was for the farmers, the traders, the workers and also the local villagers getting from A to B, getting about their daily business. It's a reminder that history isn't always dramatic. It's a simple reminder that something as simple as a bridge with a path on it help people get from A to B during their everyday life. And today, this bridge still proudly stands and is our history underfoot. If you enjoyed this video about Stonebow Bridge, I'd love you to follow, like and subscribe for more interesting, often hidden locations such as this one, because some of the oldest history is not found in museums, because this right here is an example of our history and it is very, very important to us that we try and hold on to it. See you in the next one. Bye for now.